We found parts of the bodies all over the house, in places you wouldn't think. The funny thing is the heads have never been found. Hands and feet and things like that, but no heads.
Oh, this is about my fifth career. I'm JV Johnson. I am a professional broadcaster. It's kind of my pedigree anyway. It's what I've spent most of my adulthood doing. But I've been in the magazine business. I've in the real estate business. I'm in a band. I'm a musician. I am an investor. I've been semi-retired for 20 years now. I owned a very large radio company that I built from the ground up, and I ended up selling it to one of the big broadcasting conglomerates and was able to walk away and retire, but got bored after about 3 months of that and started a bunch of other side projects, including being a politician. I was elected to local office for 2 terms as a representative in my county government. And along the way, I took an interest that I had since childhood in the paranormal and decided to turn it into something a little more sophisticated. And that included, I was the publisher editor of the TAPS Paramagazine, which was the official magazine of the Ghost Hunters organization.
Wow.
I did that for a number of years. I was co-owner of it as well. I was involved in the Ghost Hunters team's events, and any kind of outreach they did, I would go along and help promote and do some of the things at their events. And that's how I met Britt. And since that time, I've started a horror film convention, which ran for 11 years. It stopped because of COVID, but we're looking at relaunching that.
Oh,
and we got involved in a couple of projects, including the one that we're most involved in right now, which was Paranormal Reality TV.
Well, awesome. Now, how many years have you done Paranormal Reality TV?
Paranormal Reality TV is still in its first year. We launched this back in February.
Damn.
Now, obviously, Britt will tell you about his experience, but he's got a long history of being involved in the paranormal and being on TV with Ghost Hunters. Again, my experience with the magazine and being involved in the events. We had a lot of resources that we could marshal together to bring paranormal investigating to new media, which is what we've done here. And we've brought it in a live stream format, a full raw broadcast of how a paranormal investigation happens, what does and doesn't happen during those investigations. And then to add all that together, we really focus on bringing our audience into the investigation through chat comments and their suggestions and the things they're seeing. So Paranormal Reality TV is about 6 months old at this point, and it's already got a great head of steam. People seem to really enjoy what we're trying to do, and we're having fun doing it.
Well, and that's crazy though. I know when I first saw you guys, I was just scrolling through Facebook, and I think that's probably around the time we only started. I think about 3 months ago is when I start this. And I just trying to find people to talk to, and all of a sudden I saw you guys' live stream when you guys were talking to each other, and I'm like, well, these guys look interesting. So I started listening, and I'm like, these guys are really interesting. And then I went back to you guys' videos and started watching your investigations and stuff, went to your links, and I'm like, these guys are really fucking interesting. I'm gotta talk to these guys. So here we are. Cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. My question to you though is, is this normal makeup for you, or
yeah? I do this every day of my life.
Nice. Okay, that's good to know. Actually,
I actually I've been a haunter for the past 17 years. I'm a makeup artist, and they basically talked me into going out and acting tonight, and I'm like, I got stuff to do, and they're like, dude, come on, it's so fun. I'm like, I know it's fun. All right, put the fucking makeup on me. So they put the makeup on me, and then I lost track of time because I turned into whatever I turned into. And then I looked at my phone, I saw that you guys messaged me, and I'm like, I gotta go. I was literally in mid acting, and I just decided to look at my phone. I'm like, yeah, I gotta bounce. But I actually am a quality control. I work at a paper mill, swing shifts, lovely. But this is my hobby. Spooky stuff, horror movies, haunted houses, anything that involves spooky. It's been in my life, my whole 31 years of life. Love every moment of it. Can't get enough of it. My kids love it. My wife loves it. Everybody loves it. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna try to make a career out of this as much as I can. Talk to anybody and everybody. Don't care who it is, as long as they have a good story. And I'm in it for the long run. And then I brought uh he's basically my little brother with me, and he's always been there for me by my side. And I was like, you know what, dude, let's do this together, because I know we have great connections, and I think that we can do something with this if we really put our minds to it. And honestly, things are going great for us. Facebook wise, when we don't really, with the social media stuff, we don't really worry about. It's our actual platforms that we go through is what we're really proud of. And we fight for it and just keep dreaming. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it's great. It's a lot of work, and
Yes.
I understand that, and it takes a real passion. Britt and I know that very, very well. We've done a lot of different projects together. Each one we've had a passion for, and it's a commitment beyond the commitment of a job. I mean, it really requires more than that. So,
Oh, yeah.
cheers to you guys for making that commitment.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
What about you, Britt? How you doing, bud?
I'm doing all right. So I'm an unemployed actor, and I leech off of JV as much as I can. No, I mean, my day job. I'm I am the polar opposite of JV. I led my life crazy and out of control and didn't plan right. So I still work for a living. I'm a blue collar guy. I'm a general contractor by trade. I did do a 10-year run of my life on the show Ghost Hunters, traveled the world and got paid for it. Did Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International. Investigated some of the most amazing places on the planet, which is really cool. And then, but most currently now, I got my own little business. I do my own little, maintenance, general contracting thing, and I race lawnmowers. And somehow JV got me in a headlock and pulled me back into the paranormal, because I was burnt out hard when I left the show. And the last 4 or 5 months, we've been doing paranormal stuff and traveling and live streaming, which has been interesting for me because I do love production. I mean, I've made 3 movies that have made it to distribution, all low budget stuff, but I got them into Walmart.
Yeah.
And I love that the challenge that this live streaming brings, and pushing the new media. I mean, everybody's I want to get a network deal. I want to get a network deal. Well, the network cable, all that's going by the way of the dodo bird. I mean, my kids, I have 20-year-old twins and a 16-year-old. None of them have TVs in their room.
Yep.
They watch everything on their phone or their iPad, but basically it's their phone, and it's all streaming and it's all quick hit stuff. So we are trying to push that boundary. And one of the projects we did before gave us a lot of experience of on location streaming, filming, editing, streaming, filming, interviewing type of stuff. So we just kind of adapted it to this. And also JV's kid did correct me if I'm wrong here, JV, but he did live he streamed church services and funerals. So that really lent up. We're like, well, God, if we can stream the dead, why can't we stream the dead and ask them questions? So kind of led to this wild ride we're on now. And it's expensive as all get out, but we're having fun. The numbers are moving in the right direction. And maybe one day in 2038, it'll break even for us.
Nah, I don't see that. I see a lot lower than that, honestly.
I mean, I hope, but it's definitely it's a journey. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. So it's what keeps us doing it. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of scattershot right now.
Okay.
Just living life and having fun.
That's all that matters.
And just to clarify how my son kind of helped us open our eyes to this, he was a gaming streamer.
Right.
He did video. He streamed game Call of Duty and stuff every day. And I would play with him, and I still do. I play those games with him. And the local church during COVID was looking for someone to come in and stream their services because people couldn't attend.
Right.
So he had the experience, and he contacted them, and they hired him to do that. And I helped him. I helped him get the equipment we needed to do it and set it up and run it. And then he took it over from there. But it was that on location streaming that Britt and I saw as being a real opportunity. As Britt says, the cable networks are going by the way of the dodo bird, to use his words. They really are dying, and it's not a slow death. It's a rapid death. And
absolutely.
His kids are younger than my kids. My son is 26. My daughter is 29. She just got married last weekend. And neither of them have cable. They have TVs in their apartments, but
Yeah.
no cable. They don't need cable.
No, it's
Nobody's
just
watching
all
that crap.
streaming.
That's right.
I haven't had cable in probably about 8 years.
Yeah.
It's just one, it's kind of cheaper in a way. And I honestly, my life doesn't really revolve around TV. It's either social media because like I'm in it because of my show, or I just go outside and just see what's out there. Sometimes when I don't look like this, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would like to see what the looks were of you when you're driving down the freeway on the way home.
I was angry.
They couldn't see him.
It was just a blur. 90 miles per hour. I was hauling ass. I shouldn't have, but I was like, man, I really want to do this show. Well, I'm going to ask you guys a few questions. Andrew's got a few questions for you. Andrew, do you have any questions for them before we start talking and doing our thing? I'm gonna step off just for 1 second because I have to take this hoodie off because I'm going to die of heat stroke.
Okay. We just don't want to see your nipples.
Yeah. I've seen them many times. It's not a sight to just throw our eyes.
Please, no nipples. One time I logged on, Britt connected, and we were going to do a live, we were actually recording something, and he had no shirt on. I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
The air conditioner in my trailer/office was not working.
Like, it's not
And we were doing
happens.
voiceovers.
Oh my god.
All right, Andrew, did you ask any questions, bud?
No, we just
We're-
talked about your nipples.
Yeah, they
it was
are
just
very
nipple.
tiny. Very, very tiny. I'm not proud of them. All right, let's jump into this.
Where did you guys where are you guys based out of?
Well, we're on opposite sides of the country, of the continent, actually.
Oh, really?
I'm in upstate New York. I'm in Cooperstown, home of the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's a tiny little village of 1,000 people, one traffic light, and a traffic jam as if I have to wait for more than one car to pull out of my driveway. You know, so, and I love it. I don't necessarily love being in New York State anymore. It's become a bit of an overbearing place to live. But I grew up in upstate New York, so I'm not too far from where I grew up, and I love the rural nature of it and the slower pace of it and the tranquility of it. So that's where I am, and wherever we investigate, generally I have to get in a car because I tote all the equipment with me and drive to wherever we are in the country doing this show.
Cool.
And I'm in Los Angeles, born and
Oh,
raised here.
wow.
Yeah, complete polar opposite of JV. Takes me an hour and 42 minutes to go 32 miles from my house to the areas where I work in LA.
Oh my.
Yeah, but but I work in the shadow of the Hollywood sign and in and amongst all the celebrities and blah blah blah. But yeah, I live in shithole LA.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. We're based out of Ohio. So
Where in
we're a lot closer.
Where in Ohio are you guys?
We're based out of Dayton.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So we're not too far from New York. We're honestly from I know from Niagara Falls. I think we're about 6 hours. It's not bad at all.
No, I don't think it's that far to Niagara. I'm in Cooperstown. It takes me about 4 hours to get to Niagara Falls, and it only takes me 6 hours to get to Cleveland. So, are you that much further west?
We're lower. We're close. We're close.
Yeah,
to
we're
Cincinnati.
southern.
Near Cincinnati?
Yeah, close.
Okay.
Basically, like we're right
Okay.
in the middle of Dayton and
So those-
Cincinnati.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, it's not there when no one's missing anything. The Bengals lost to the Browns. So
Wow, is that even possible?
it was
It
terrible.
was
It was
24
really
to
bad.
3.
Yeah. it
Wow.
was
Is that in
not
the
a-
area of the Mothman prophecy stuff?
No, so that's Point Pleasant, West Virginia. So from here it's about 2.5 hours,
Oh, gotcha. All right.
which is great. That's a great place to go to if you guys ever been.
We're going on this coming a week from tomorrow. We'll be there.
Oh, it's such a lovely place. Make sure you slap the Mothman's ass of the statue. They say it's like good luck. I don't know why, but that's
Wait,
One
there's a
one-
statue of the Mothman?
yes, and it's
Oh, come on.
amazing.
You've
it's
seen
bad.
the statue of the Mothman guy.
He's made out of like
I mean, but I mean, we can actually get to it and take
Oh, yeah.
pictures with it
Street.
Oh,
and
yeah,
apparently
it's
touch
in
its
the-
ass.
yeah, it's like in the middle of the town.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a
All
really
right.
really cool area to go, and like the nostalgia of it's really cool because they basically based their little town for the Mothman. I love it. I've read the book Mothman Prophecies, and it was absolutely terrifying. And then my mom forced me to watch the movie, and it was more terrifying. So I just don't fuck with the Mothman. I'm not really like, I mean, I'm a big conspiracist about like the Mothman and stuff, but sure, why not? Let's believe it. Now, Bigfoot, on the other hand, I don't know. I don't know, but we're getting there. Maybe one day I'll start believing.
We haven't found any bones yet, so
yeah, I honestly hope you guys do some poltergeist stuff. Make sure you put it back, please. So what, when you guys first got together and you guys decided to create, whose idea was this from the get-go for the Paranormal Reality TV?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of has a really bizarre genesis. Britt and I were doing a couple of different shows a couple of years ago, and we often flirted with the idea of bringing those concepts, the live streaming stuff, to the paranormal. We did a few interview shows. I'd actually done a syndicated radio program about the paranormal. Are you familiar with the show Coast to Coast?
No, sir.
Okay, well, that's the granddaddy of all talk shows. It's a late night paranormal show. George Norrie is currently the host. It started with Art Bell, who's a legend in broadcasting. Anyway, I did a program syndicated through Westwood One Radio Networks with Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters. He and I hosted it together, and we did it for 3 years. And then he took off because Ghost Hunters got picked up again, and I kept doing it by myself. And then Britt and I were doing other non-paranormal related stuff. And we started to dabble with some paranormal interviews. And at that point, I actually just, like Britt said, he got burned out on Ghost Hunters. I got burned out asking, you bring up Bigfoot. How many times can you ask somebody the same questions about Bigfoot, hear the same damn answers, and nobody's got a picture? Or nobody's got a tuft of hair that has DNA on it that is not explainable. I mean, it just can't keep asking those questions and get the same answers.
Exactly. And I I always argue with him about like just stuff like that. The pictures, you always see a blur.
Yeah.
Bigfoot, just a blur.
Yeah.
For hundreds of years, supposedly. There's just a picture. Who the fuck is Bigfoot? Who is this guy? Well, why is he larking through the woods and taking all over like trash cans and stuff? It's not fair. But there are people out there that 110% believe that Bigfoot's real, and that's who we're trying to talk to basically manipulate us in believing in Bigfoot to see if they can.
Yeah.
I'm just confused that they have more photos of Bigfoot before the invention of the cell phone camera, and really none afterwards.
No.
I mean, but everybody's got a camera now on them and a video and a really great camera. I mean. So there you go.
Well, that's the problem I have. If you want to go down this Bigfoot discussion road, I mean, I'm like you, I try to remain open-minded about this stuff, and I'm not going to draw any conclusions that for anybody else. Everybody can draw their own conclusions. Yeah. I, on the other hand, have a real problem with a creature that, as Britt just pointed out, there are more photos from pre-cell phone days than there are now. But why? Because the cell phone pictures are so clear, you can tell it's fake when they're taking them. Those kind of things. And the other thing is that, I mean, we've got thermal technologies, we've got drones, we've got all of this technology that should be able to, in an instant, confirm the existence of one of these creatures. It hasn't yet. So what has happened? The Bigfoot community, again, let everybody decide for themselves. But what I see is the Bigfoot community has changed the definition of what this creature is now to explain why we can't get these pictures or thermal hits or whatever. Now it's interdimensional, or it cloaks, or it does this and that. Sorry, I'm just having trouble. I need something
100%. I need
tangible that can show me at least a hint that of evidence that there's something to this, and I'll remain open-minded until someone can do that.
Please.
I think we call that moving the goalposts.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's what they're doing. They, it's alien, or it's interdimensional.
They make it harder for us to find them.
Well, and they make it harder for us to say, you don't have a picture, you can't explain that, and then, well, I can. It's interdimensional, or it knows how to cloak against technology. Well, If that's what it is, that's something very different than what.
I mean, I'm sorry, but if this creature was that smart to have cloaking technology, where's their hospitals and their super highways and their homes with heating? And I mean, why are they still living out in the woods in the weather and smelling like stinchy and not taking showers regularly? Smelling like BC. I mean, it's the same thing with the dolphins. The dolphins are the smartest animal on this planet. Really? Do they have hospitals down there? Can they make each other? Can they repair each other when they break a fit? No, they can't.
Supposedly they have sex like humans.
Well, Britt would know.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Very loudly, apparently.
Can you reenact it for us?
You still have those scars, Britt?
Yeah. Hey, at least I'm getting it.
That's right. Oh shit. Here we go. Oh boy. Oh, that's funny as hell. Yeah, Bigfoot's a whole different it's a different world. It's the same thing with like flat earthers and other people.
At least the flat earthers have a pretty good argument at times. I mean,
some of it sounds
I've never had
believable.
one.
It sounds believable, and like when they're really big in this conspiracy, it's like, okay, I actually talked to a flat earther, and like he was like 100% like it's a fact that this Earth is flat. And by the 2 hours I was talking to the guy, I was like, man, this guy may be right. He's showing me maps, he's showing videos, he's showing me. I'm like, but in deep in my mind, I'm like, no, there ain't no way, dude.
Yeah, no, I think we're all.
I own cats. If this Earth was flat, they'd have already knocked everything off the edge. There's no way it's flat.
But they at least they bring up some what I would call intellectual questions. They ask some really, really good questions that's hard to give good, solid answers to, which lends credence to their theories, whether you believe it or not. But but just to get back to your question originally, how did we get together on this? So we'd been toying with this idea for a while.
Tequila.
And then too many tequila shots. No, and then we just decided to pull the trigger on it, and we did. We had a third partner involved for a while, but that didn't work out, and we had to part ways. And now we've discovered the magic of actually just partnering with a variety of people and getting a whole bunch of different perspectives during our investigations, whether they're psychics, mediums, or just investigators, and we're really enjoying that. We're getting to see how other people work. We're getting to advise people on what we think they should do, and they advise us on what they think we should do. And it's been really rewarding that way.
Yeah, we so far we've met. We've had an interview with Mandy from Ghost Sisters. Lovely lady. She's super sweet, super nice.
Lots of energy.
Lots of energy,
and really committed to the paranormal.
Oh,
really,
yeah. Yes. It was funny. We did our first interview with her. That was our first ever interview. And I forgot to unmute her. So the whole hour and a half was muted. But she was so fucking awesome when I wrote her back and I told her that, and she said, let's do it again. And she did it, and we busted out a longer show with more information. And I could not appreciate her enough for her to do that. And it's like, holy hell, I didn't look like this. I'm honestly really embarrassed by this, but I had to do what I got to do.
You what? This is going to be your #1 rated show.
That's and I think that's just crazy. On how people believe in, like not really believe in, but are like mediums and stuff. I don't think I've met a medium that has that much energy. I think with all
she's definitely on the higher side of go.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's just remarkable to have that capability. What are your guys' thoughts on mediums?
Hold on.
Sorry, Andrew.
Hold the dough.
Yeah, hold the questions, bro. I want to hear JV's memorable of this year. Memorable investigation.
Oh yeah.
When you asked that question, I wasn't sure if we were talking about actual like experience and investigation or just memorable moment, because one of my most memorable moments, and I've alluded to it a couple times here, was specifically we were investigating not the Rhodes Hotel. It was the New Egypt Historical Society Museum in New Egypt, New Jersey. And Britt was up in the attic, and we had an IR static cam.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Showing what was going on up there.
What's an IR static cam?
It's just a camera that has infrared light, and it's just static. It wasn't our cameraman's camera. It was actually just a mounted camera that was static.
Okay.
In a static position. And we're watching it, and I was sitting at the command center with the psychic medium we were working with at the time. And there was some experience, something had just happened. I don't remember the details of what had just happened.
Okay.
But as Britt and the other investigators were kind of summing up what had just happened, there was something that looked like kind of an orb on the screen. And at first it was striking. It was like, wow, look at that. And then and the psychic that was working with us was like, oh my God, look at that. And she's going nuts. And as I looked at it for a few seconds, I went, wait a minute, it's not moving in perspective to the way other people are moving. You could tell it was like in one position and it was just stuck there. So I said, I won't say her name, but I said, psychic medium girl, that's not an orb. That's nothing. That's something on the lens. No, it's not. Look at it. It's there. It's going to its own line. So I radioed up to Britt and I said, Britt, go over to the camera and see if there's a bug or something on the lens.
Yeah.
And he walks up and you get this big shot of Britt's giant face in the camera, which was hilarious. And he goes like this. Sure enough, it was a spider web on the lens.
Spider web.
And when he removed it, it was gone. And she felt like an idiot. She just like was screaming at me that I was wrong. And I felt like, okay, we just showed people how you have to go about this in a methodical way. You can't jump to the conclusions like she was.
Yeah.
You actually, okay, maybe it is something, but the way it's looking to me is we've got to check the lens because it's too fixed. It's like in one spot. And sure enough, that's what it was. So it was a teachable moment. And I really, really liked that. And I like things like that. And as far as paranormal or haunting experiences, when we did our very first investigation, and Britt wasn't able to join us for this one, but it was at the Rock Island, Illinois former YMCA building. And it was the place where gangsters were known to have hung out, Al Capone and others. It was about 3 hours from Chicago. When they needed to get out of Chicago, this is one of the places they went and kind of spent time and did whatever gangsters do. We were on the second floor and we were using a spirit box, and I was investigating with a guy named Scotty Roberts, which would be another great interview for you guys if you're looking for people.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'd be happy to connect you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we were listening to the spirit box and we were getting some very pointed, direct answers to our questions through the spirit box. And I'm not a big fan of the spirit box in general. But this
why?
particular session impressed me.
Why are I just want to know, like, why are you like skeptical about it?
Well, I'm skeptical of the way it is engineered to work. You're basically scanning radio frequencies, which are going to spit words out because they're people on radio saying things.
Yeah.
So by that, I've just heard too many people pull things out of it that is just too manufactured for me.
That's understandable.
But when you actually hear something that's a direct response to a question, and it's multiple, not just one, but it happens in a series, that's too far to be a coincidence. That's too much to be a coincidence. And that's what was happening to Scotty Roberts and I when we were talking to this gangster on the second floor of the former YMCA in Rock Island, Illinois. So that was a great moment from a paranormal perspective to me. And like Britt said, the NAGS investigation we did, that was phenomenal. We've done so many already, and they've all been really, really great. So it's hard to pick one.
Okay, that's nice. I mean, that's a really good answer. Have you guys ever been on an investigation where you haven't got a single thing? How's it like when you guys do all this research and you guys finally make a plan to do this investigation, and then you go there and you don't get nothing? Is that a disappointment feeling, or is it more about the adventure?
I'll let Britt answer it, but I'll say this. It's always an adventure, and ghosts or whatever this stuff is do not perform on command. So you got to be prepared for those investigations where you're not going to get anything. But Britt, I'm sure you've got a lot more to say about it.
Yeah, and if they would perform on command, we'd have to give them a SAG card. That gets expensive. So there's that. I mean, again, so what JV and I are doing with Paranormal Reality TV, because we have a sizable budget, and it's the same thing for the ghost shows, particularly Ghost Hunters. That's the only one I could speak to because that was the only one I was on. We have a budget. We can go to the places that people, when I say people, I mean like nags. The reason we went there is there was multiple different humans over a pretty wide time stamp of time and age telling us about stories of this place upstairs.
Right.
So, and we're able to scramble and go to it. Bailey Seton Hospital has lots and lots of stories. One of the ghost shows was there. So we were able to gain access to that, and we're able to go there budget-wise. We're able to go to where the stuff is at. Same with Ghost Hunters. They're able to go to where the ghosts are at. So that's why we have such a high success rate.
Okay. Well, it's
outside of the shows, like when before I was on Ghost Hunters, I was on a private team. We call them private teams. 99.567% of the time, nothing happens. You can debunk everything.
okay.
Because paranormal activity is just that rare. If you're looking to join a team and every place they go has activity, that's the wrong team to join.
Okay.
They're looking for something to be haunted so they can say, "Look at me, I found something." Yeah. And yes, I have been plenty of places. But let me tell you this: when I was on Ghost Hunters, I mean, there were times we went to locations and not an effing single personal experience happened to anybody. And and the running joke amongst the team was like, "Wow, production just spent $72,000 for us to do nothing," the type of thing, because that's roughly what it costs. And then we would go into evidence review, and all hell would break loose. Like, it's all on the equipment, it's all on the EVPs, it was on the cameras, it was on the. So you can never, and we've had the exact opposite happen, where we have all this crazy shit happen, and none of it translated to the equipment. So, it can go every which way. I mean, there's no one has successfully gone across and gotten the book for the recently departed and come back with it.
Okay.
So until that happens, it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that sounds
until you investigate and then review all of your stuff, can you make a determination of if you got anything or not?
Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, that sounds pretty good. A pretty good answer. Andrew, do you have any questions right now?
So obviously
No.
you guys have. That's okay. That's okay. You guys have investigated here in Ohio, because that's mainly we're looking at Ohio investigations right now for us. What places have you investigated here in Ohio on Paranormal Reality TV? So I know Ghost Hunters has done quite a bit of stuff here.
I don't think we've done a Paranormal Reality TV investigation in Ohio yet. I'm trying to remember. I don't think we have. We're doing our first one next Friday night.
Cool.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we've been in Ohio yet.
Yeah. We'll be in was it Galleon, Ohio, the Brownella Cottage.
Okay.
On
Yes.
Friday and Saturday night this coming up weekend. Yeah.
That's nice. Have you ever heard of Post Town Elementary?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, we live
15 minutes?
like
10, 15 minutes?
10, 15 minutes away, and that's our goal, because that's just what we can afford right now, and that's how we're at. That's probably
how
going
it
to be
works.
our first investigation. I know Mandy messaged us saying that she wants us to do a tag along with her. That'd be great to do a first investigation with her.
Get your sleep.
Yeah.
She will run you ragged.
Well, I can't wait. I really can't wait, because I think it would be a really good step for us to gain connections with people, especially with them in person instead of on the camera itself.
They're good people. They're good people to be connected with and have a friendship with.
Yeah, and I'm really, really excited to take that journey and take that step into the paranormal world with the 13th podcast. Don't really know what I have a goal with what we're doing and stuff, and so far our goals have been reaching there. Like you guys I didn't expect you guys to even message me back, and you guys did. And it's like, holy shit. Okay, cool. I'm gonna roll with it and just let it happen. I think what we've been doing is been great. I've gained connection with my like I said, my little brother, again after so long, and it just feels good to actually not do something that I normally don't do, which is paranormal stuff, conspiracies, aliens, all this other stuff that it's so intriguing to learn about. And again, I'm so pumped about this. I got a bunch of questions I want to ask you guys throughout the show. Well, one question I'm going to ask: when you guys started Paranormal Reality TV, did you guys think you were going to be where you're at today?
No, I thought I was going to be a multi-millionaire living on a big piece of property in Tennessee by now, but that's not happened.
It'll come.
Here's the thing about it. One of the things we learned very, very quickly. We're a small crew. I mean, Britt will tell you.
Oh my God.
When ghost hunters went out and did what they do, and they didn't do it live, with the exception of the Halloween shows they did, but they were just to film. That they had a crew of 12 people, and
13.
And that still was difficult to make it all work. And we're doing this with a team of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. And
when they did the live ghost hunting shows, the live shows, it was a full. I mean, it was like a crew of 100. They had a week to set up. They had satellite trucks and directors' trucks and blah 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 blah. We're doing this with basically 4 or 5 people,
which is crazy because I remember watching that when I was younger. And I remember, oh man, Ghost Hunters is on tonight, and they had that little website you can get on and try to message them and stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm so excited. It's Halloween. I don't care about trick or treating. I'm all about this Ghost Hunter stuff. I honestly forgot about that, but that was something that I always look forward to do every Halloween. Was
it
Ghost
was cool.
Hunters.
6 hour live investigation. Well, we're doing the same thing with the same quality. We have our hiccups here and there because we're still, learning stuff, and we're a small crew. But anyway, my point was that we kind of underestimated how long it would take us to ramp up. And we realized that if we could do this every weekend, if we had the ability to do that, which we don't because we all have other projects going on, that this would be moving along a lot faster.
Yeah.
But because we're basically one a month, and we're fortunate, we just did 3 in a row in August, which was kind of cool, and we're doing 2 next week. We're doing the Brownella Cottage, and then we're doing Mothman, which won't be a full investigation. It'll be more of just kind of a walkabout, talking kind of thing. And then we're going to be doing the Ura Shrine in Bristol, Tennessee, just a couple days later. So we're able to, but because we're able to ramp up the number that we're doing, the whole ball is accelerating. The snowball's picking up steam, and that helps. It's just tough for us to keep that schedule being such a small crew. We rely on family. Britt brings his son. He's bringing his daughter to the next investigation. I bring my son. My daughter's been involved, and then we bring the other people that join us. So everybody's schedule has to jive for us to be able to get out and do it. And again, if we were doing 4 a month every weekend, this would be happening a lot faster.
Yeah.
But because we're kind of, our real schedule is like 1 a month. If we can fit an extra one in, we do. It's a little bit of a slower process to grow it. But having said that, we've grown, and we're really, really happy with the response we're getting from folks.
Cool. Well, I mean, I'm really happy for you guys to actually, honestly, just doing it. That's the biggest thing, and you guys are getting recognized. I mean, I came across you guys, not even trying to find you guys, and you guys, I'm like, oh shit, okay, cool, here we go. Do you guys think that, like, I know at the beginning of that episode, Brett said something that he got burnt out with the Ghost Hunters things. Do you think in time that you guys will be burnt out on doing stuff like this, or do you guys are going to try to find like an ultimatum of trying to keep the show interesting by doing different things?
Well, we do want to do Bigfoot stuff, alien stuff. It's more about it's not. We're doing the ghost stuff now because that's easy, basically. It's what we really know. And it's also easier to do than, going out to the desert and trying to find aliens flying around in space type of thing. But so we do want to do more stuff outside of the ghosty world, but within the paranormal genre. But it's what is the right word here, JV? It's just a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
It just is. And to try and keep from burning out on that is tough. Now, I burnt out on Ghost Hunters because I was on the show for 10 years. I was away from home 300 days out of the year because the stars of the show were in Rhode Island, and that's where all the hauntings are within driving distance of their home.
Yeah.
It's the most haunted place on the planet. So I always had to fly that way, and because I was on the show, and they would always, well, you can go home for the weekend. Oh, wait, so great. So I leave on a Friday. It's a full flying day. I'm home Saturday, and I got to fly back Sunday. It just doesn't work. My body just couldn't do it. So I was gone a lot. So that's where I burnt out.
Okay,
Just
I can understand that.
Being gone so much, and I missed so much of so many kids first. This is and that. But I made a lot of money that allowed mom to stay home and not have a job and raise the kids, and they had a roof over their head and they had every fucking toy they wanted. She had like 9 different cars during that 10 years. Just
you took that step. That's
it was give the yin and the the fathers get a bad rap when they say, "Oh, your dad was never around." Yeah, because he was out fucking working, so you could eat and have a roof over your head.
Yes.
Yep.
100%.
And mom at home.
Yeah, it's all about sacrificing.
And you can do the other way. I'm not saying it has to be the mom at home and the dad working. It can be the dad at home and the mom working, but one of the parents needs to be home, especially in the beginning, in my personal opinion.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I think when it comes to like doing something that you love doing and to accomplish your dreams, you do have to sacrifice a lot of stuff, a lot of time away from your family and put more focus on your dreams and stuff, and eventually it'll pay off. It's just going to be tough. I've learned with dealing with social media for the past 6 years. It's very, very, very stressful, and I'm pumped about it. And I love editing. I love posting. I love talking to people, and I just truly just enjoy doing what I'm doing.
Well, it is a grind. I mean, if you want to be successful in this, and you're saying you kind of want to make a living on this, it's a grind, and sometimes it can be a long grind.
Yeah.
And it just depends on how much grinding you have in you, if you're going to make it or not.
Yeah.
It does help to be on a network in the beginning, in the heyday. Don't get me wrong. I mean, JV and I, we had a huge jump start on this. And then the other thing is, we're kind of the first to really embrace the new media, and really lean into it and go for it. No one else is quite doing what we're doing.
There are a lot of people that'll go on and do an investigation and point their cell phones into the dark room that they're looking in, and that's fine and good for them. I mean, they're sharing what they're doing. I think that's great. But we're bringing full TV quality production to what we're doing.
Yeah.
We have our glitches, we have our moments, but this is full TV quality production to a live stream that's available, on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, and nobody else is doing that, at least yet. So we're kind of blazing that trail. Yeah,
and that's the cool thing, especially if you're doing something that no one else is doing and you catch on. It's like, okay, nobody else is doing it, so I'm gonna do it, and you guys are doing it, and it's getting recognized quick. Well, you guys just hit 100,000, didn't you?
187,000.
180,000. That's a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, it is. And the other thing I really want to point out, because we often forget to mention this, but it is really a crucial part of what we're doing. One of the things the cable channels and the TV shows can't do is interact in real time with their audience. As you know, when you're ghost hunting, Britt and I will be, in a room. It's pitch black, and with the exception of a few pieces of equipment that we've got that might have a little glowing light on it, we can see almost nothing, which, for what we're doing, that works. But the audience has the benefit of the camera and the infrared light, and they can see what's going on in the room. So they might see an object move that we can't see because it's pitch black, or they might see a shadow, something change in the lighting that we can't see because all we see is pitch black. So they have an advantage. And they chime in and they see things, and that helps, and it involves them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But they also have a disadvantage because the IR light washes out a lot of what we see, like the faint light anomalies. A lot of the shadow movement is just like, if you have a shadow on a wall and you point a flashlight at it, what happens? The shadow goes away.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword. But the cool part is that via chat, which is part of our crew, like JV was saying, we bring our kids with us. Like Tyler, he's the cameraman. James, he runs the board and does all the switching and what cameras are taking. Alex, on top of helping set up and that kind of stuff, although the last stream, she ran the board, which is pretty fun. But she monitors chat and she makes sure that the questions get zinged into us, and so that if someone in chat sees something like Mary Grace, they'll radio in and we'll address it, ask the question, investigate it, or whatever. And that is an element that really no one else is doing at the level that we're doing it at.
Oh.
And that's kind of a cool thing, and it gives chat something. It gives a reason for people to tune in live and not wait and just watch it later.
Yeah.
Although don't get me wrong, please watch it. We want the numbers. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Please tune in and watch. Smash that like button. Hit that notification bell. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
There it is.
Follow us. Exactly. But yeah, that's one of the unique things that we are doing. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
people
and
seem to enjoy it.
I definitely know when it comes to, like, you can't, like, see what we're seeing when it comes to something that's so faint, but you're there with us. You're there. Yeah. You may not see the stuff that we're seeing or hear the stuff that we're hearing, but you get to see our reactions. You get to see you guys are doing it. What Ghost Hunters did for Halloween, you guys are doing it for your show, just period. And that is fucking awesome. You got like pre-recorded shows like on YouTube of like Paranormal Files, Ghost Theory, and all them other guys are out there. But their stuff it's edited and filters are on it, and you don't really hear or whatever because there's always going to be a better microphone. There's always going to be a better camera. But you guys are catching it on live, and that's the most important thing.
Well, that's what people used to say is I want to watch it live to make sure there's no funny business. Well, you're watching it live.
Yeah.
All the good, the bad, the ugly. Cameras go down. We trip over shit. We drop stuff. Like when what was it?
You pushed the REM pod off the table.
Yeah. It was so dark. I couldn't tell where the end of the table was. But I was trying to get as close to the chair, and I shoved the REM pod, $200 piece of equipment right off the fucking table.
Oh, God.
Hits the ground. It breaks. It's like, but you get to see that. Sometimes the transitions take a little bit of time. We gotta get teams in place, and and most of the time we only have one camera in time. Literally, Tyler runs almost the entire night. He goes on every investigation with every team because we have one camera guy. And
got some hell of a calf. His calves.
Oh my God, the kid is insane. But sometimes it takes time for us to jockey that around to get him in place, and
right. But we do have
that.
static cams. We do have positioned cams too that like cover transitions and stuff, so he can get from one room to the next or whatever he has to do. But
my point is that when we do it live, it's not an edited show.
Nope, you can't edit live.
Sometimes you get to see the greatness, but you also get to see some of the process. I don't want to say it's a hiccup because it's not. It's just a process.
It's a learning experience, and I think that's just about in the growth and period. You can't grow without learning.
True. And there's really no way around it unless you have a bigger crew, which, one day if we break even in 2035, we'll have a bigger crew.
There you go. You went up 3 years. Went down 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, did I? Okay.
There you go.
There we go.
See,
was 2038,
it's there.
Now it's 2035. I'm encouraged.
It's there.
There
Do you guys use a streaming platform, like a platform to stream live to all your accounts, like Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube?
Yeah, we use a professional broadcast quality software package that
not cheap at all.
No, not
Jesus.
cheap. That basically allows us to bring all our cameras in, all our audio sources, everything can come in, and then it's really like what do they call the guy? Producer? What's the guy that sits behind a console like at a sporting event, pulling cameras in and shots in and replays and all that stuff? Is that a producer? Is that what they call him?
That's a producer. Yeah. Well, normally he would have a producer. He would be the technician. The producer would be standing over, take 2, take 4, take 3, replay that. But we don't even have that. So he's got to do the manipulating and produce.
Oh boy. That just
so James is really busy.
Yeah. So it's a special software package that we invested in early on. We actually invested in it when we were doing some of the other shows that we were doing as well. So it's had multi-uses, but
we learned we had to beef up our computers like a lot to run the damn thing. All the video coming in. This has been an adventure, and we are literally a rolling satellite truck.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's
We
basically
just plug in.
what I had to do to even start this show, because I had absolutely nothing. My brother-in-law, when we ran the show, always went to his house. He has the studio. He has the nice microphones. And when we decided to call it quits, and I'm like, well, I don't want to stop talking to people. So I had to sell like my vacation at work and, you know, spend about like $3,500 to buy everything. I bought a brand new computer. I bought a brand new microphone. I have people that run podcasts, and I was getting their advice on what microphone to use. Because if I'm not, like, the microphone I'm using is a Rode podcast mic. It's a great mic. It's a good startup mic. Andrew's got the Shure MVX7, I think it's what it's called, and they're great mics to do a podcast with. Yes,
I'm using DeWalt earphones.
and I'm not
headphones.
judging you. And I'm not
still
judging
hear
you.
ya.
I still hear you. Great. Everything's good. Nothing's cutting out. To take a step back into the paranormal, what are your guys' beliefs on Ouija boards?
Britt, you want to go first?
Perfect. That's all I need. That's all I need.
Yeah.
My personal opinion on that is never open yourself up. The thing I personally don't like about the Ouija board is you're saying whatever's out there. Control me, controlling this.
Yeah.
Flechette. Control me to push it around and spell out what you want. So in a sense, you're opening yourself up. Not to mention that there's just inherent inconsistencies or I mean, you can kind of nudge it in a certain direction if you want. There's no way to know if it's legit. So that's why I personally like the electronic equipment, because you're saying light that K2 up. Now, don't use me to light it up. You go light it up. You make the REM pod go off. You know, this other thing. Now, if you want to set the Ouija board up and put the flechette on it and step back and not touch it and say move that flechette to, then that would be fine. But if you're asking anything to control you to make the answer happen, you're opening yourself up. That is not a smart thing to do.
So, to answer, like, that's basically answering my question. So, do you believe in demons?
I think yes. So I used to not. I just used to think that you know, when you're old and grumpy and die, you're just a grumpy fucking ghost. But I hung out a lot with Adam Bly, who is a exorcist that actually trains priests how to do exorcisms for the Vatican. He's sanctioned by the Vatican. And I met him through the event circuit. JV knows him also. And he liked to drink the vino, and he would tell me great stories that he wouldn't tell most anybody else because I don't know why, he just wouldn't. But demons are extremely, 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 extremely rare. I am educated enough to kind of recognize it and then get the hell out. And that's all Adam taught me, was just enough to recognize it so I can get the hell out. If you run into something you think's demonic, back the fuck away from it and leave it alone. But I believe they're real. I just don't subscribe that every ghost is a demon. I don't subscribe to that. You just got to know what you're dealing with.
When do you know to leave?
When their head spins around.
Like some
Get
Reagan stuff from The Exorcist?
Yeah. I mean, it's you know, there's an episode on Ghost Hunters. It was the old city jail in Tennessee, I believe is what it was. That's when our producer got attacked. All the scratching, the growling sounds we had, the smell of rotten eggs, that sulfur smell. That's all stuff that we backed out. I fucking started texting Adam. Dude, what the hell's going on here? This is getting crazy. But then we went back in and we challenged it. The producer didn't want to let it have that power over her. And it was great, and it worked out in our favor. But, you know, the people that say, I read a book, so I'm a demonologist, they're not a demonologist. Being a demonologist, being a exorcism person, it's a lifetime of work and dedication to a religion, a greater power, and a whole lot of educating yourself by either mentors, reading lots and lots of stuff, and having mentors. You can't just read a book or two that, you know, someone wrote about demonology and then call yourself a demonologist. You're just gonna wreak havoc on somebody's life.
That's good to know. I will do my best to not fuck with any demons. I don't want to.
No, I mean, no, it's not worth it. It's just if you think you're in that realm, and I don't know what it is about the Catholic mojo, but it's the only stuff I've ever seen work. like legitimately works, squash a haunting. You know, the smudging, the Native American stuff, it works for a while, but the stuff comes back. I don't know what the Catholics have, but man, it's like raid to an ant farm.
Yeah, like I was born Catholic, Catholic family. Whew.
So are you a practicing Catholic, a threatening Catholic, or completely off the reservation?
Well, if you can see myself right now, neither. I honestly just got baptized March 28th, born again Christian. Did it for my daughter's birthday and did it for not for the fact of faith, but to basically cleanse myself for the most part. Didn't do it for religion or anything, but I definitely felt I felt better about myself, and I was battling demons and stuff. And our church was like, we talked, we did our thing. Probably about a month before I got baptized, I witnessed a car crash, and I saw a lady lose her life in front of me. I tried to save her, try to be there for her, and then the paramedics came up and said, she's gone. That kind of hit me really hard because one, I didn't know who she was. I didn't know where she was going. She could have went anywhere, but it really, really fucked me up bad, and it brought me into like a really deep depression, and fear and stuff of driving took over, and it was just really hard for me to even just like comprehend on a lot of stuff. So I took that in consideration, went to my church, and we talked, and they basically helped me get back on my feet where I need to stand in my life and basically say, like, I'm enough for myself. I'm going to continue to move forward. So I got baptized, and I've been chucking along ever since and trying to just not necessarily have God in my life, but just have myself in my life to be well aware of situations like that. Maybe there was a reason why that happened. I had to go through that to experience this, and it sucked, and I wish it never happened, but I'm kind of glad it did happen because it definitely opened my eyes up on how short life really is.
Yeah, the human body is very fragile. So you don't have God in your life, but you have yourself in your life. So are you saying that yourself is the supreme being?
I don't know. I'm not there yet. I stopped not necessarily believing in God when I lost my mom in 2014 on Christmas Eve. When the doctor came up to me and said, your mom's in a better place. That hurt me because it's like, how do you know? Was the question.
You don't. No one knows.
Yeah. So, and that really like destroyed my perspective on life itself. And I went through a weird stage. And I want to believe. I think that, like religions and stuff towards me is a big safety blanket that people have in their life. And I respect every religion out there on what people believe in and stuff. I don't judge them for it or anything. It's just I'm here to live my life as best as I can for me and my family. To be there when I can and to just enjoy the time where I'm at.
Interesting. I would love to go down this rabbit hole with you, but I would drive JV nuts.
It's pretty dark.
It's what I do to him. I drag him down rabbit holes.
Oh yeah, it's not too bad. But
no, just the whole thing about God and self and
yeah,
we'll save that for a different show.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Fuck yeah. 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 I mean, I'm here. I'm happy. I think that's probably the best thing I could say about just life in general. I'm just happy about life. Life is great. Sometimes.
I just want to go back to this, as Britt was describing, demonic or evidence of demonic manifestation. And he mentioned the smell of rotten eggs. I've been on a lot of investigations with Britt and smelled rotten eggs, and it wasn't anything to do with the demon. I can promise you.
That's a different kind of rotten egg. That's a different kind of demon. I have warned you about that.
Yes, you have.
You shit your pants.
I don't even have to shit my pants to clear a room. It's a talent I have.
Yeah, you do.
Everybody has upset stomachs.
Yeah.
Have you?
I can damn near fart on command.
That's a brilliant thing. It really is. Now, if you can make it smell on demand, then it's like.
No, that has to do with. Yeah, I have to eat. It depends on what I eat.
Now, When you guys went to an investigation, do you guys look at it as a case or an investigation process? I think that's what I'm trying to ask.
We you know, a lot of paranormal teams like to look at this as like almost like a crime mystery or something, and they give it a case number and they go and they're trying to figure it out for a client, and that's great. If that's what they do, that's great. That's not what we're doing generally. I'm not going to pretend that somebody called us and they're afraid and we need to go help them resolve their issues in their houses when we do. We're just not. We're looking for interesting places that we know we can go in and have a good chance of capturing something for our live audience. That's what we're looking to do.
Yeah.
We recognize that in addition to being paranormal investigators in those instances, we're also entertainers, and we want people to enjoy what they're watching. We want them to learn from what we're doing, and we want them to get whatever thrill they get from paranormal investigating. I mean, there's a lot of adrenaline in this business because, as you said, you know, you're scared. You know, I don't know how you said. I think you said you were a pussy when it comes to doing this stuff, but that's probably why you love it, because it's that adrenaline rush
Yes.
you get when you do it.
Yeah, that's why I enjoy going through haunted houses.
Yeah.
I'm completely terrified. I hate it, and I'm like him sometimes. You know, I tuck the tail and I run. That's just how I am. I'm not even touching the ground.
You know what's more fun in a haunted house? Scaring the shit out of people,
Oh,
making
yes.
kids cry.
That's the best part. I do a thing called stalking. I roam this ginormous park, and it sounds pretty weird, but it's when stalking's legal in a haunted house. But it's great. It's a great experience because it's like in the outside life, you can't do this normally, but in this life, you can. For instance, last year, I stalked a lady for 2.5 hours. Loved every moment of it. The moment she walked in, I watched her everywhere she went. I watched her, as bad as it sounds, watched her walk into the bathroom. I watched her walk out, wash her hands.
Did she know you were watching her?
Oh, yeah. The whole time. But I was like I was off in the distance in the crowd, but she always knew that I was there. And I fucked with her for like 2.5 hours, but never really approached her. Never did my thing. And then when that moment was right, you know, they went the bomb. I got her. I finally did it. But that's what they pay for. They go there to get scared, and you give them a show. I gave them the show. I brought the nightmare to them, and I'm a haunt actor. It's just.
I just want to tack on to what JV said. I mean, we know what we are and what we're doing, but we're also looking for that sit down interview with Jesus, because I have lots of questions.
Oh, fuck yeah!
And if we can get that interview on one of our streams, I'm all about that, and that would be amazing.
You guys would probably be the most wealthiest men in the world to sit down
Or
with.
dead.
Or dead. Have a microphone.
Said, nope, we can't have that.
Shut this down.
Yeah, shut this down. Nuke that feed.
Yep, we're done. When you guys go on to an investigation, what's the equipment that you have to bring with you to start this up? Not the cameras or anything, but the actual equipment that you use. Devices, yeah.
Devices used in the investigation itself, you mean?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, again,
not the ones that vibrate.
Yeah, I go back to ears and eyes. I think that's the most important stuff. But I mean, honestly, it's really the basic stuff. It's an audio recorder and some type of. I mean, a lot of people will use a still camera. I mean, we had a guy at one of our investigations using an old Polaroid, legit Polaroid that the film, spit out afterward. And he said it's a fortune to find this film because it's all new old stock or whatever, however you say it's stuff. You know, they don't make it anymore, so you have to find people that are selling old stuff. Anyway. But an audio recorder, some kind of video recorder, and your ears and eyes, I think that's the basic stuff. Everything else just adds to that, in my opinion. But you don't need to spend a lot of money to get started. Definitely not.
Okay. Yeah, that's honestly.
The noisemakers.
Now, what do
you like the what?
The noisemakers.
Like the little clappers?
The stuff you can. Well, like the REM pod. If it starts to activate, you get the flashy lights, but you get the noise, so you don't have to stare at it. Like the K2s, you gotta watch because they don't necessarily have. Although they do have I think the newest K2s do have a clicky sound it makes when the lights start to light up, so you can know to look at it. But so you can set I call it the electronic ghost net. Set out as much equipment as you can, particularly noisemakers, and then you step back from that, and then you use your eyes and ears and senses to observe and experience the room, and questions and all that stuff. And then if something starts to happen, a REM pod goes off, it tells you focus over here because the environment's going in flux for some reason. So that's kind of what I like to do.
What are the cat balls? What do you guys ever use the little cat balls? The cat toys?
We use and lose them all the time.
Yes. Step on them.
Step on them, break them. Yeah, I mean, the neat thing about a cat ball is that, as Britt just pointed out, it makes a whole bunch of lighting noises. And in a dark room, when it moves, and that's what makes it go off, something had to move it, and the lights draw the attention to where it happens. So they become a really popular tool, and they're really inexpensive.
So
that's why,
for sure.
So with these, I just bought a first pair because I'm just intrigued by it. When you turn it on, I noticed that it does light up, and then when you set it down, is there a specific location or a specific position that it has to be in to let it go? No. So you just set it down, let it go off, because I've noticed.
The little sensors inside the cat ball, so it doesn't matter which side it's on.
So
some people will set it on the little red button, so that if it does get touched, it'll fall over.
Okay.
So some people do that. You can do that.
Now, I've noticed, I set it on my desk because I just got these yesterday. And I'll sit there and I'll let it go off, and I can grab the cat ball and slowly lift it up, and the light doesn't go off. So it actually made
Takes a lot.
That's what made my brain think a little bit more about, well, maybe this shit is real, because I thought these were super sensitive by blowing air on it, and
nope,
it's not like that. So that's when I was like, okay, well, this makes.
So when you use that cat ball, you're in a room, you set it down, wherever you're standing at and doing your thing, stomp really hard and see if the cat ball goes off.
Okay.
And if it doesn't, get a little closer, stomp again, get a little closer, stomp again, until you get it to go off. I mean, we were at Bailey Seton Hospital, and I was literally stomping within 6 inches of it. I'm a fat kid, stomping as hard as I could. Because it was a concrete floor, the cat balls weren't going off. So then I backed up, and it was with Mandy, and we were doing our thing, and then the cat ball would go off on her questions. And I know, I stomped as hard as I fucking could right next to it. It didn't go off. So... So once you kind of do all that pre-setup so you know where it's at, and what it takes. So sometimes you're in a place and you put the cat ball down in your way and you can stomp moderately hard or whatever, and it'll go off, and then okay, I cannot be moving. If I'm moving and that goes off, that's probably me. But if I'm standing completely still and it goes off, So yeah, you just gotta do your homework with it and experiment with it, and but yeah, the big thing is do the stomp test. And then you know what its sensitivity is on that particular floor.
Now, Andrew, you asked Mandy this question about a type of thing when it comes to a type of method. What was that you'd asked her? The method that you do to
the Estes method.
The Estes method. I'm sorry. Have you guys ever performed that before?
Yeah, it's a staple in our bag of tricks. It's a pretty cool way to do a spirit box session. We actually also came up with our own version called the VAX method, which instead of having somebody on the premises listening to the spirit box and reciting the words they're hearing, we actually let the audience do it directly.
Oh wow!
We send the signal right through the stream, and they actually are listening and telling us what they're hearing. But yeah, the VAX method, I applaud Carl Pfeiffer and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they're the ones that are credited with coining the term the Estes method, and it was just basically a variation of a spirit box session that isolated the person asking the question from the person hearing the answers, because there's just too much opportunity for bias in the old way we would do these spirit box sessions.
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting that, you have your headphones in, the person asks the questions, and then they respond. I think that actually helps people believe a little bit more of the situation or spirits, apparition, or just in anything in general. Yeah, I'd love to experience that eventually, but in time that will come. And then Andrew, there was another method on 28 Days Haunted. What did they do with that? It was when they pour the salt in the water and then they encap themselves. What is that? Have you guys ever done that before?
Say that again.
Yeah, I don't
They
know
do
this.
what?
Remember, Andrew, do you remember in 28 Days Haunted? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so they set up a little pool and put a tent over it, and they put water in the pool and
Put salt in it so they can
500
float.
pounds of salt so they could float, and it heightened their sensories so they could feel the energy from the house that was haunted at the time.
And they basically they see things in their brains and stuff, and I'm like,
From floating in a saltwater pool.
Completely dark, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know what that does or means. I'd have to look into that some more.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing. I mean, I seen it on Stranger Things when Eleven was floating in a bathwater to try to communicate to her her dad, but to actually see
But that's
it in
a scripted show.
exactly. It's crazy. But like, it's like, okay, well, I mean, I wanted to ask that question to see what type of. Like,
I've never done it, so I can't really talk to it. I mean, who knows? I mean, who would have thunk we could fucking talk to the other side with cat balls? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a. I don't know. I think these are pretty interesting to
I mean,
have.
I would try it once or twice.
Yeah,
If it was cold water, no, though. It had to be warm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think it honestly would be pretty good content itself that you guys are going over and beyond to do that for, the viewers and everything. And I think that'd just be pretty cool. It's like, hey, we're about to do, I don't even know what method it's even called. But
all I know is that to get a pool big enough for Britt and I to float our fat ass in, it's going to take a lot of water, a lot of
It has to be a
salt.
doughboy.
Yeah.
a 4-foot deep doughboy.
I mean, that in alone will be a whole show, and
Yeah,
Oh,
that would be
quite
insane.
comical, I bet.
Yeah, that setup would suck.
it'd be worth
Yes.
it though. It'd be a fun one. Like, hey, we're about to go swimming,
and-
guys.
In 2036, when we're profitable.
He went back up.
a year.
Oh, we just added a year.
Well,
Damn.
2035 was break even.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay, profitable. You got it.
Profitable. Gotta be profitable.
Now,
Because a doughboy ain't cheap. And
Now-
apparently knows fuck. And I don't know how much salt is nowadays, but with everything else going on.
Probably too much.
I just paid $6.14 per gallon for diesel today.
Yeah, that's why.
Holy shit. I know here in
Yeah,
Ohio,
man.
our diesel's like $5.
Yeah, that's what it is in New York, and heating season's coming.
Motherfuckers.
We heat with heating oil, which is basically diesel.
What would you guys consider as, whether you guys use it or what you've seen used on other shows or ghost hunters, would be the most unreliable equipment that you've seen?
That's a great question. I imagine our answers are going to differ. I have to think about it, though. Britt, if you have an answer, go for it. I have to think about it.
I mean, unreliable. Any piece of equipment can be unreliable if it's not understood by the person who's using it.
Right.
Everything can be unreliable, and everything can be reliable if
I know my
you
answer.
understand. Yeah, if you understand how it works and what its weak points are and its strong points are. I mean, Jesus, unreliable.
We thumped
What I mean
ya.
is like
Yeah,
something like a K2 meter.
I've
Like
got
if you go in a house filled with energy and you're using a K2 meter and they're like, oh, that's paranormal, but in all reality, it's the wires behind the wall.
Yeah, that's why you got to investigate. K2 meter is actually pretty good. I use a shit ton of it. I probably have 37 K2 meters
Oh God.
Oh,
because once you get your baseline,
Right.
you get your baseline, you go in that house, you turn that K2 meter on. It's got bad wiring, so it's sitting right at the like orange and a half. That's your baseline.
Yeah.
Set your K2s down, set them up, interact. If you can get the spirit world to drop it all the way off or all the way up to red, now you got a fluctuation that's not normal.
And the other thing is, Britt and I won't go into an investigation with any piece of equipment or multiple pieces of equipment, have one device react and walk out and say, we just caught a ghost. It's haunted.
right.
No.
There's got to be a gathering of evidence and supporting things, whether it's a personal experience with a device, with another device. It's got to be a culmination of things, not just one. If anybody walks into a room and a K2 blips, they walk on and said, "I just haunted," and then they're crazy. They don't know what they're doing. So that's important to know. It's got to be the summary, the totality of the evidence gathered that makes you come to a conclusion, not just one thing. But let me just give you what I think, as far as most unreliable piece of equipment. And boy, these things are popular now. It's these apps. I am befuddled by how many investigators will now use these apps and swear they're having a conversation with grandma who died 3 years ago. And, you know, I don't think there's any software engineer anywhere in the world who's figured out how to actually communicate with the dead through code, through computer code. I just don't think it exists. So I as I opened the program when we were talking earlier, I try to keep an open mind about this stuff. But people who honestly go into an investigation and all they do is sit there and talk to their iPad and think they're having a conversation with a ghost, I'm sorry, I'm just not buying that.
Absolutely. I think it's just a scam for them to make money. That's just my opinion. I know
The other one, now that I'm thinking about this, the other device that is really inaccurate or easily manipulated is the dowsing rods in human hands.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but you know,
Yep.
or the pendulum thing. Anything that involves the human body and trying to stay perfectly level, and I mean, subconsciously you're trying to stay, and then it'll cross. Oh my God, I'm talking to grandma. No, you just fucking moved your wrist and.
Because everybody has like a slight tremor.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not no sniper. You're not steady aim or anything. Everybody has a slight tremor. We can't just hold something and say, all right, that's completely leveled. Ain't no way, unless you have a level.
Especially a rod that sticks out 18 inches or whatever it is. You know, any slight variation in the amount of level that it takes will make it move.
Absolutely.
And,
I think they're interesting because they're made to find like water or something in a way, like a method to find like water or streams.
Yeah, it works.
Does it actually work?
Uh-huh.
Huh. That's pretty cool. Why do you think that works though?
Voodoo.
I
don't know. It's one of those great mysteries of work. I don't know, but
Britt and I had a conversation after one of our investigations where, again, the investigator that we're no longer working with was using one of these apps and was convinced she was having this major conversation with somebody on the other side, and it was saying our names and all this stuff, and to her that was proof that this thing works, because how would it say our names otherwise? And Britt and I immediately thought, those, you know how these devices, how much these devices are listening to us?
Yeah.
If you're a software engineer and you're programming a ghost hunting app that's going to spit words out, what are you going to make it do? You're going to make it listen to the words in the room and either respond to those words or repeat those words.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted to create an isolation box, get a device that's a virgin device, has never been used, put one of these apps on, put it in the box so it doesn't hear anything, and then see what it says.
That's interesting. And it does the same thing, like if you're scrolling through Facebook or whatever and you're talking about something, it's like, oh, cool. I was just talking about that same thing when your Facebook's connected to your internet browser.
Yeah, it's weird.
They're always watching you guys.
I mean, it's all super convenient and amazing technology. And if we were righteous, virtuous, moral people, every single one of us all the way through, it would be amazing technology that I wouldn't fear. But Mao, Hitler, Lenin, Chavez, Trudeau, Biden. I mean, I can keep going. The Bush family.
Yeah.
The Clinton, getting Clintonized. I mean, all these Brennan, Comey. I mean, we can keep going. All these evil people that will take this stuff and use it for evil. So I think Elon Musk is right. Artificial intelligence is going to kill all of us humans because some evil idiot somewhere is going to program it to do something, not realizing it's going to get out of control.
Skynet is coming.
I have a T-shirt that says Skynet. I literally have a T-shirt.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it is.
And it's crazy, like that you speak to AI, like AI and stuff. They're taking famous people, huge artists, and making songs that are 10 times better
Yeah.
than their normal
Mhm.
songs.
Yeah.
And it's gonna come. They're eventually gonna bring back famous people that are dead, and remake songs. And that's our kids' future. That's my future. That's just what the future. Everybody, the way I look at like life right now and how everything's going, life is getting lazier and lazier and lazier and lazier and lazier, and people are getting fatter and fatter and fatter. Which is, I don't know if you guys
Who
ever.
the hell?
Yeah, I take that
Who
personally.
the hell knew that
sorry.
Wall-E was gonna be?
I'm sorry, guys.
Wall-E was gonna be a predictive movie.
Yeah, there's another great movie. It's called Stupid. What the hell is it called? Stupid.
No, Idiocracy.
Idiocracy. That is 100% what's going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's
We're on
just,
our way
It's
to
already
it.
happening. It's already happening. We're already seeing it.
oh yeah, we're already in a depression. But that's just how everything's going right now. Paranormal.
It's just not bad enough yet.
Yeah.
Have you guys
turn around.
experienced anything demonic in any of your investigations in the past 6 months?
No. Other than Britt, the smell of rotten eggs, which we've since explained.
It's methane.
No,
Yeah.
no. And I don't ever expect to. And the people who go in and say, "Oh yeah, we had to face a demon,"
No, they didn't.
A, they're full of shit. B, if they really were facing a demon, they're idiots for screwing around with it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Now, have you guys ever considered on going to, which is like my favorite episode of, you've probably been to it before, on Ghost Hunters, is the St. Augustine Lighthouse.
Yeah. I was at that investigation.
Lucky you. Thank you.
That
I've
motherfucking
been
thing
there before,
Walked right next to me.
and that is that's crazy on that stuff. Have you guys ever considered going there and investigate?
well, I'll break some news for you right now, and I haven't even had a chance to talk to Britt about this, but
Rick and Wind.
no, my daughter got married last weekend, and her husband's brother invited my family to his wedding, which is in St. Augustine in January. And I was going to say, hey, Britt, we should plan an investigation around me having to go down there anyway.
Yeah.
So we might. I guess the answer is we might. We haven't talked about it yet.
That's
but we
great.
might.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Now, have you guys looked into the Ohio Reformatory?
Not as part of our schedule planning right now, but it's one of those places that's on the radar because it has such a great reputation. So certainly, it's possible down the road we'll be able to do something like that.
Yeah, that place it's wild. I went 2 times to the festival, Incarceration. I don't remember it because I was obliterated. Saw every band that I've always wanted to see. Had a great time. We had the experience of, the privilege of walking the prison. Also had the privilege of talking to the owner that owns the haunt in the prison. Know him personally. He's a great guy. And then we went back again this year, and this time we were just by ourselves. It just wasn't busy that day. And then that place is remarkable. The amount of space that you could cover is just wild. And the stories, Shawshank Redemption was filmed there. All the prisoners that died, caught on fire, the murders, and it's all in one place.
Yeah.
And basically the question I'm asking is, if that place is spooky, does it have to be like, but a lot of people think like, hey, this is a spooky house. It's haunted. Why? Like, why do people just immediately think like, hey, this house is abandoned, there's boards on the windows, and it's just a dark place, it's haunted? Well, why do you think it's haunted? Is it because it's a scary situation, you don't want to go in? Like, what gets you going?
Britt's going to have a much longer answer than I will, but I'll just say Hollywood. That's why we think it's haunted. Hollywood
Yeah,
is telling us we
Hollywood.
think it's Hollywood. It's haunted.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Propaganda works.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
movies
is
definitely
cool.
take control over lives 100%. What do you guys think about graveyards being haunted?
A lot of dead people there.
There are a lot of dead people there. But like when I think of a graveyard, I don't really think of it being haunted, scary or anything. I think that's where people are laid to rest and that's it. But I have never experienced anything at a graveyard. Now, have you guys ever done an investigation in a graveyard and captured something?
I have when I was a kid, my parents We had no money. My parents both worked a lot of jobs just to survive. So they would look for cheap ways to entertain us and themselves. And one of the things they used to do is they'd hook up with some friends of theirs who also had kids about our age. And we'd all pile into a van that I think the other family owned. And we'd go around and quote unquote ghost hunt. And we go to graveyards and my parents would tell spooky stories. And, it got me interested in all of this at a young age. But I think beyond just getting that adrenaline feeling that we were talking about earlier, I don't know that graveyards are any more prone to being haunted than another location. And I have not done a full-blown investigation in a graveyard. Britt and I have done EVP sessions at graves and other things, but as far as a real investigation, haven't done it with the equipment that we use now. So I really can't speak about it much more than that.
Okay.
And my last thing about graveyards is that if maybe there's something to being tied to the body, I don't know. But if you're a spirit and you have a choice of where you want to hang out and quote unquote haunt, the last place you'd want to be is in a graveyard. I
think it'd be
not
boring.
a very pleasant place to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's hanging out with a bunch of dead people. They don't really talk. I know they're dying to get out. So. There's a question. Oh, okay. Yeah. When it comes to a specific time, I was kind of arguing with Andrew about this. When you investigate, why does it have to be during the night?
It looks spooky on TV.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's I get that part, but why isn't there more daylight investigations, but there's more of darkness investigations?
At nighttime, the ambient noise outside is down. People are asleep. Cars aren't running around. Big trucks are parked. You can, believe it or not, you can see shadows easier at night. You can see the light anomalies at night a lot easier. It doesn't have to be as much energy the spirit world has to use to do it. But the big thing is just the ambient noise.
Okay.
And, if you look at the field, it's mostly full of people that have day jobs. So the available time they have is at night.
Yeah, that's
but activity happens 24/7. It's not always at night. The other thing is that also a lot of the claims are at night, and it's because people are getting into bed, quieting down. The kids are asleep, and then they can hear the weird shit that's happening. So then you get I was in bed. It was midnight. It was 1 a.m. It was It's just because it's quiet and they can hear it, and that's when you get the reports.
Now, Andrew had a good thing about old people. Andrew, won't you say that?
Andrew.
Come on. I wanted to say it. So what was the old people thing?
So when we were talking about this on one of the podcasts, I said during an investigation, I would say a prime time for old people would be between 4 and 6 a.m. because back in the day, that's when they would actually get up, watch the news, get ready for work. They worked at the mill, stuff like that.
Keep going.
I don't know if old people still do that. But
Careful.
Old people working at the mill. Yeah, we got old people working in the mill up here in Cooperstown. I'm not sure what you mean. You think like people that are old that have passed on would be more likely to haunt at 4 or 6 in the morning?
Yeah, so there's still in that
residual
time to wake up.
You might see somebody reading a newspaper, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, that's the routine. The routine is when they get that'd be a residual haunting, but also, it could be the routine that they're just doing and reliving over and over again. And, old people did primarily work in factories and manufacturing because that's when we actually had factories and manufacturing.
Yeah. He said we.
So,
I'm sorry. You said we. So.
I embrace my age. It is what it is.
That's okay.
But the bottom line is today, you kids, you guys don't. There's not manufacturing like there used to be.
Yeah.
So, but I would not dismiss that out of hand. There's some merit to that theory that's when the routine is, but that would probably lean more towards a residual haunting.
Okay. Now, what do you guys think about a good time where you think paranormal is more active?
I don't think there's a specific time. There are a lot of people that say 3 a.m. because of the whole connection to the crucifixion and all that. But I don't, in my experience, there's no right time and no wrong time. what Britt said about investigating at night is very true. It's quieter, so it's easier to hear stuff. It's dark, so if there are small light anomalies, you can pick them up where you wouldn't be able to see them in the day. But beyond that, I don't necessarily think anything's more active at night.
Okay.
You just are more equipped to catch it at night because, again, less noise and easier to see light changes in light.
Cool. Now, what are your guys' beliefs on orbs?
Take a pillow, bang it with your hand, with a flashlight on and a camera, and that you'll have as many orbs.
Got orbs.
As you want. Yep.
Okay, that's all I need out of that question. Yeah, there's a lot of people that against like that picture I posted and that tracer and stuff. I see what people are talking about orbs and stuff, but like he said that it's a Hollywood thing where people's like, oh man, there's a ball of light, or
Listen,
you know,
if it's actually emitting light, if we're in a dark room and a little ball of light goes by me, that's something.
Yes.
And you can call it an orb. You can do whatever you want. I don't care what you call it, but that is legit. But most of what we're calling orbs, and people even say, look at it, it's emitting light. No, it's just reflecting the light from whether it's the IR light or the flash of the camera, whatever it is. It's just reflecting. That's not emitting. That's different.
okay. Now,
Lightning bolt.
have you ever seen an orb like that projecting
Light anomaly.
A light anomaly?
I think I have, but I can't conclusively say I have.
Okay.
I've seen something that I thought was that, but again, I don't have the evidence to confirm it 100%.
What about you, Britt?
I've seen them, but it was natural causing. So when you get into the really humid states and it's moist out, light anomalies like that will happen naturally in Mother Nature. But if you're in a drier area, like where I live out here in California, and you see that, that's a little different because it just doesn't happen when it's not humid. It's a humidity thing, so it can't happen natural in life. Which is where I've seen it was when I was in Georgia. Could have been fireflies, but there were no other fireflies around, so they call it. They have a slang term for it, which I can't remember what the hell it is now, but maybe it's a will-o-wisp is what they call it. Because it's not a firefly, but I've never really seen that and then documented it myself personally. I've seen photos of the stuff, but like JV said, if you can see it with your own eye and get a photo of it, it's interesting. But again, it also has to go with what's going on. You're asking questions, does it match up with any other activity, etc.
Now, Andrew had a really good question a few weeks ago when we were talking. Why is it that I mean, you guys don't know like the full answer for it, but why is it that you only see demons but not angels, or something that's good?
Who says we don't see angels?
I was just going to say I don't think that's true. I actually would believe I've seen angels well before I believe I've seen demons. And in my years of interviewing people, I've interviewed a lot of people who have at least believed they've seen angels. I haven't interviewed that many people who've believed they've seen demons. So I think that's probably a misunderstood topic. And I'd be more ready to believe somebody's story about an angel than a demon.
Yeah, that's I believe that 100%. Now, have you guys? I know Britt has with the scratching. Have you guys experienced personally been harmed or injured during an investigation?
When you ask about harmed or injured, you mean by something paranormal? Because Britt has pushed me down steps before.
That's an assault.
I keep telling him that we don't have life insurance, so stop trying. But maybe he has another motivation. I'm not sure. No, I actually, I've been touched. I felt my hair touched. But I've never been hurt. I've never been scratched that I can remember. So no, my answer is no.
Okay. Britt?
I mean, I've been pushed once, but it didn't leave any marks. That was weird.
Like, what's it like? Does it feel like an actual being?
No.
pushing you, or is
No.
it just like a stump?
It's 1 second you're standing here, and it's like every molecule in your body at once just moves.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, thank you on that one.
Yeah, it's not like you feel a handprint pushing you. It's weird. It's
not a
an
focused
interesting-
energy. It's not a focus
Yeah,
like a hand
no.
would be or something.
But I forgot the question.
We're at that hour.
Uh-oh.
I'm tired. I'm fucking struggling. Hey, I got up at 2 a.m. this morning and did a 14-hour turnaround trip, so I'm fucking exhausted.
Oh boy. I'm all right. Honestly, when it comes to I had a really good question, and it just slipped off to Andrew.
It's that time, huh?
It is that
Yeah.
time. Andrew, do you have any questions before these guys?
So before we end, Arthur and I took kind of like a big step into getting our first paranormal
married?
gear. We got. What's weird is we talked about that the other day. It's a messed up. We were going down a rabbit hole. It was way.
we got deep into conspiracies, and it really fucked us up.
Okay.
We got a 4K camera, EVP recorder, and the cat balls, our eyes, and our hands. Would you say that's a good stepping stone for first-time paranormal investigators?
And don't forget
Absolutely.
that your camera records audio too, so that can be EVP
Yeah.
also.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of times what the danger that some people run into, and I talked about this a little bit with the apps, is that they get so focused on something like, in front of them, whether it's a screen or a K2 or whatever, they're completely missing everything going on
Everything
around them.
them. Yeah.
And that's the worst mistake you can make, I believe.
Yeah, the equipment helps. It's a tool. That's why I like the noisemakers.
Well, cool. Well, guys, I really appreciate you guys staying on the show and being goofy, spontaneous, and open-minded with this, because it means a lot to us, because it's a stepping stone for us. And honestly, I just love talking. Sometimes I need a muzzle, but that's just, and I promise you guys, I don't look like this all the time, only on the weekends during
Sure.
October.
Looks great. I think it looks awesome.
Thanks. But do you guys have any questions for us before we end this?
No, I just want to thank you for having us on. I want to thank you for taking an interest in the paranormal in general and talking about it and furthering the conversation. Anybody who's contributing in that way, I think, is an important member of our community. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
I'd also like to encourage your audience to look for us on Facebook and YouTube, Paranormal Reality TV.
Okay.
We do live stream investigations guided by our chat members, and we try to do at least one a month, and sometimes we do more than that.
Cool. And as goes for you guys too. We help you with, and I'll help you guys as much as we can to get you guys for your goals, and we'll be there honestly every step of the way. Other than that, guys, I hope you guys have a very spooky time, and just stay spooky, please.
Appreciate that, and have a great time with your haunt. Looks like you're right into the middle of the season.
I'm ready to take a shower.
All right, guys, thank you.
Thank you so much. You guys have a
good
great
one.
night.
Have a good one, guys.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, guys, that was the interview with the Paranormal Reality TV. You guys have a fantastic evening. And again, guys, it ain't scary. It ain't fuck. It's late. It's not fun if it's not scary. I'll see you guys.
We found parts of the bodies all over the house, in places you wouldn't think. The funny thing is the heads have never been found. Hands and feet and things like that. But no heads.